you're easily looking at monthly payments between $1,500 and $2,000. These are just not selling whatsoever. These are actually having the hardest time of any pickup truck out there. Over half of all the truck loans out right now within the United States are over $1,000 per month. Look at that. $11,000 off, or a 0% interest rate over 36 months. Stacked and stuffed to the gills with brand new Toyota Tacomas. $7,200 discount, bringing it down to just over $78,000. Believe it or not, this is actually the most affordable full-size heavy-duty Chevy Silverado I found on this lot. Who in their right mind is gonna buy this over the new one? I don't get it. Imagine derailing their top spot of having the #1 best-selling pickup truck on their 49th year. YouTube, Untamed here. Why are there so many brand new trucks just sitting collecting dust on dealership lots right now? We're talking for several months on end, sometimes a year plus. These are very high-spec, high-trimmed, oftentimes very desirably trimmed examples, still just sitting on dealership lots. So in today's video, I'm gonna showcase to you a number of examples of just that. Very desirable trucks that used to fly off the shelf, now just sitting collecting dust, even being advertised with invoice pricing and incentivized interest rates is still proven to be insufficient. So stick with me as we talk through it all. Like, why isn't this 2025 Toyota Tacoma Trailhunter not selling? This is supposed to be one of the most desirable trimmed Tacomas, but it's been sitting here for over a month. Riddle me that. I wonder if this has anything to do with it. Final assembly point, Mexico. I have no idea what it is. I mean, I thought people loved Trailhunters and I thought people loved TRD Pros. Normally speaking, these would be sold before they hit any dealership lot. Is it the bronze oxide color that's rubbing people the wrong way? Or perhaps these wheels are a little too flashy, too in your face, these bronze wheels. Or the snorkel, is that too overkill? Is that over the top? You guys tell me. You know, for $65,744, it feels like a bargain, right? It might just be the iForce Max turbocharged hybridized Ford banger underneath the hood. That might just be it, but we don't know for sure. Is it the chase rack? Is that what people don't like about this one? Or the fact that it doesn't have a sunroof? That might just be it. You guys tell me. Why aren't people buying this 2025 Toyota Tacoma Trailhunter? Why in the world is this brand new Toyota Tundra TRD Pro not selling? Tundras used to sell like hotcakes, let alone the TRD Pro trimmed examples. The previous generation back in 2021 only had 381 horsepower and 401 foot-pounds of torque. This one, 437 horsepower and 583 foot-pounds of torque from this twin-turbo V6, hybridized V6 iForce Max. Why in the world has this not sold yet? It's been here for now at least 2 or 3 weeks and still no takers. $75,544. I just don't get it. And how is it that every Toyota dealership is just stacked and stuffed to the gills with brand new Toyota Tacomas, right? Just always dozens upon dozens of them sitting collecting dust. I don't get it. The Tacoma, that's an iconic nameplate at this point. Same goes for the Toyota Tundra. Why aren't these trucks selling? I don't get it. I mean, in a world where everything costs an arm and a leg, it just makes sense that the iconic, very reliable Toyota Tacoma costs over $50,000, right? The vast majority of these are, you know, 51, 53, 56, and even a $58,000 example down there. Why aren't these selling? Even Ford F-150 Raptors are having a difficult time selling. 37 performance package examples have MSRPs right around $94,000, $95,000, but even they are being advertised at invoice pricing. That brings the price tag down about $87,000, $88,000. But even then, they're sitting on dealership lots. Just like the Ford F-150 Raptor, the Ford F-150 Lightning here, the EV pickup truck, originally was coming with markups, $10,000 or more over sticker price, over MSRP. And at that time, people were wildly excited about them. But quickly, something happened. Something happened to where the popularity just went down to zero. And these plagued Ford dealership lots across the country throughout 2024. So much so where Ford actually slowed and actually ended up halting production of the F-150 Lightning because they just couldn't sell the inventory that they had. I don't understand. I mean, people were wildly excited about it, and then boom, out of nowhere, people didn't want it. Here we have an example of a Lariat trimmed F-150 Lightning, just under 75 grand. People are quick to complain about the F-150 pricing. Why not come out and buy yourself a much more affordable Ford Ranger? Here we have an example of an XLT trimmed Ranger, just $45,000. Why isn't this flying out the shelf? 45 grand for an XLT Ranger? They look good. The color is neat. Why hasn't this sold? you're the frugal type, why don't you come out and buy yourself a brand new Ford Maverick? Here we have an XLT, MSRP is just under $37,000. Right next to it, in eruption green, we have a lariat trimmed example of the Ford Maverick. This one here, just under $42,000. And well, one more XLT on this side. I believe this one was at $39,000. Well, just under $40,000. I wonder if it's just because this one doesn't have a bed liner. If it had a bed liner, I bet it would have sold by now. Well, maybe not. This one has one. I don't get it. All right, guys, fine. I get it. I understand maybe these Ford Mavericks are a little more too high trimmed, high spec for most people's taste, but why not just buck up a little bit more and find yourself one of these Ford F-150 STX trims. STX trim, this is the most affordable F-150 on this lot. You get some nice wheels with it, obviously full crew cab, no bed liner, whatever, but at a price tag of just over $54,000, why not? It's just a little bit more than that Maverick. This makes total sense. It is quite alarming that this is the most affordable F-150 on the lot. This brings me to today's video sponsor, and that is Last Fit Floor Liners. If you've been following my channel for any length of time, you know that I don't normally, quote unquote, pimp out my channel and do a lot of these paid sponsorships, but I do it when I believe in the product. The Ford Raptor also has some Last Fit Floor Liners in it because they are exceptional. In the Suburban, it is more important for my family because this is the family hauler, as you'd imagine, right? We have 5 little ones, all under the age of 9. And well, as you'd imagine, the interior of this vehicle becomes a disaster extremely quick. So I want to show you just how exceptional they are. I'm always very pleased with this product. And well, I went the full 9 yards in the Suburban here. We got full coverage from the very front to the far back. So now we can take the pups on adventures with a little bit more peace of mind that they're not going to completely destroy the cargo space of the Suburban here. So obviously the cargo mat right here, but it also extends upward into the backs of the third row there, which I thought was pretty neat. If you're like me and you have a large family, you will certainly appreciate the added coverage of the Last Fit floor liners. Before I put these in here, I did have, thankfully, some all-weather mats in here before, right? They were the OEM ones, but even compared to the OEM all-weather floor mats, these provide much better coverage. So I'll even have better peace of mind with these moving forward, because let's face it, no matter how hard you try, the kids will make a huge mess of your vehicle. I'll show you here a quick glimpse of what it looked like as I was cleaning them out before putting these in. It is quite the disaster, but that's inevitable. It's a price you pay when you have kiddos. As the name would entail, they are laser fitted to fit your vehicle perfectly. Go on to Last Fit's website, check out their year, make, model of your vehicle, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised that they'll have an offering for you. So check it out. I'll leave their my affiliate link to Last Fit in my video description below. Please feel free to check them out. They always have very quick shipping, and their price tags compared to the competition are much better. Go into my video description below, use my affiliate link, and if there are any added discounts being applied at any certain time, I'll be sure to update my video descriptions appropriately so you can use that to add on to the already very well discounted price tags of these. Get it, so many of these trucks out here, a lot of these F-150s, of course, the Rangers and Mavericks, they all have tiny little engines, and of course, the Toyota Tundra and the Tacoma included. But here, we have a Ford F-150 Tremor with the Tremor package sporting a 5-liter V8 underneath the hood. I mean, this is quote unquote a real truck, right? We still have a naturally aspirated, squeeze through here, naturally aspirated V8, but the price tag, you know, $70,000, $70,190. But you do get that V8. Why hasn't this sold? I thought people love naturally aspirated V8s. I do. Why hasn't it sold? And guys, I wish I was exaggerating when I say there's at least 50 or 60 unsold Super Duties on this lot. Many of them, of course, are 2025 units, as the 2026s are beginning to hit the dealership lot too. Here we have a Ford F250 with the Platinum package, sporting a high output 6.7 liter Power Stroke diesel engine. This one here, it does unfortunately tick into the 6-figure range, 103,000 plus for it. But when it comes to longevity and proven performance, this is the one you want, right? Why hasn't it sold? And again, for $103,000, I would sure hope they'd put some bed liner back here. This one does have the automatic running boards that kick out when you open the door. Perhaps that's too fancy for a lot of people, and you prefer a standard fixed attached running boards. I get it. Growing up, my best friend's dad actually had a diesel King Ranch F250 at the time, and he loved that truck. I assure you though, he paid a lot less in the early 2000s compared to what we find now. Here we have a 2025, unsold 2025 F350 King Ranch with that two-tone paint exterior. It looks nice, and I thought people really loved this truck. It's sporting a high output 6.7 liter Power Stroke diesel engine as well. This should sell theoretically, right? People normally are excited about this truck. Why is it still sitting here? And I don't understand how they still have so many unsold 2024 and 25 F-150s sitting on their dealership lots right now. Right now, Ford is offering incentivized interest rates to people with challenged or even poor credit. If you have poor credit, you can still find yourself getting a brand new Ford F-150 with an incentivized interest rate of about 3.9% over 60 months. That's being advertised across the country. You want to know why they're trying to do that? They want to continue to hold their title of having America's #1 best-selling truck for 49 consecutive years, because this will be their 49th. They have 48. They want to make sure that they do not lose that title. And you tell me, what could go wrong? Selling these $70,000 plus pickup trucks to people with challenged credit? What could go wrong, right? For Ford, the most important thing right now is to pump up their numbers. They want to pump up their sales numbers across the board so they can maintain their titles that they've grown very proud of. Imagine derailing their top spot of having the #1 best-selling pickup truck on their 49th year. That'd be pretty embarrassing. So they're gonna do whatever it takes to avoid that, right? They need to reach 50 at very least. 50 years of consecutive best-selling truck. That's what they want, that's what they need. They'll do whatever it takes. Honestly, remember a time not that long ago that price tags in the $70,000 range were only reserved for the highest trimmed Platinum examples. Here we have a Ford F-150 Lariat trimmed example for just under 74 grand. 74 grand for a freaking Lariat. That's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. This has unfortunately become our new norm. How do you feel about it? Here we have a 2025 Ford F-150 STX trim. It does have some additional accessories that are being forced upon you though. We have some window visors, tie downs, tube steps, wheel well liners, all for the small price of $2,500, bringing that final price tag just over 54 grand. And well, you guessed it, no bed liner. This one here, I mean, you tell me, would you consider spending anywhere near $50,000 plus for this one? I don't know. Well, I can tell you there is certainly no shortage of GMC Sierra pickups for sale. Here we have a whole lineup of 1500s, a bunch of 2500s and 3500 options over here, diesel and big gasser engine options. These have been sitting here for several months on end, many of them anyway. Here we have an example of a 1500 elevation trimmed Sierra 1500. Look at that, $11,000 off, bringing that MSRP price from 57 grand down to 46,000, or a 0% interest rate over 36 months. Why hasn't this flown off the shelf? I find it quite baffling. During the pandemic, really throughout the last 3 to 5 years, trucks like these GMC 2500s and 3500 options, especially the diesel sporting the 6.6 Duramax, the AT4, the AT4X, these would have flown off the shelf. People were wildly excited about these trucks. But yet here we are, a huge lineup of them. That line continues to get longer and longer as people have just shown zero interest in it. Here you're not gonna be able to see it. We have a GMC Sierra 2500 AT4X, this particular one, just under $99,000. Tell me, why don't you think this is sold yet? To the Chevy Silverado ZR2 Bison, here we have a GMC Sierra 1500 AT4X. This is sporting that 6.2 liter V8 underneath the hood. A naturally aspirated V8. This one here hasn't been plagued with the whole downsizing the engine, turbocharging everything. This here is at least a robust engine. They have it priced down from $85,500, $7,200 discount, bringing it down to just over 78 grand, or they say or a 0% interest rate over 36 months. This example here, a prime example. This would have flown off the shelf. It would have been pre-sold before it hit the dealership. But here we are. It's been sitting here for several months. And guys, I just am completely baffled by this example. This is a GMC 1500 here. This one is sporting the turbo diesel Duramax, the baby Duramax, if you will. Price tag just under $49,000. Has about 44,000 miles on it. Almost 3 years old at this point. But that price point, that is about the same as a brand new one there. Who in their right mind is going to buy this over the new one? I don't get it. And right up next to the dealership, we have another example of a brand new GMC Sierra 1500 sporting the 6.2 liter V8 with the AEV package, which is identical essentially to the Chevy Silverado ZR2 Bison. Got that steel bumper on it. Again, people love this truck. They love this truck. And normally speaking, they love that engine option too. But it still hasn't sold, right? These aren't flying off the shelves like they were. Price tag, you're not going to be able to see it too well. Hopefully you can. $87,505 for this brand new GMC Sierra 1500 AT4X. Now, if you didn't know any better, you would assume Honda is selling their Ridgeline extremely well, but that is not the truth. Here we have an example of a Honda Ridgeline Black Edition for about $49,000. Honda has a really good track record, a good history of limiting their production for projected sales. They're really good at projecting what their sales figures are going to be, what the interest is going to be per model, per lineup, and they're also really good at killing off models and units really quickly if they're not seeing their hopeful sales volume anyway. Now, I kind of understand why the Toyota Tacoma isn't selling all that well. For mid-tier, mid-trimmed examples, you're still spending in the mid-$50,000 range. Here we have the top of the line Pro 4X here. Pro 4X Nissan Frontier, still built in America, unlike the Toyota Tacoma, which is built entirely in Mexico, still has a 3.8 liter naturally aspirated V6 underneath the hood compared to the 4-cylinder that you're forced to get in the Tacoma. Here we have a price tag of just under $52,000. 52 grand. I mean, you tell me, why isn't the Nissan Frontier selling all that well anymore? I don't get it. I mean, to put it bluntly, you can't help but feel as though a lot of vehicle manufacturers have priced out their target demographics. Here we have an example of a Chevy Silverado high country trimmed example of a 3500. 3500, and well, the price tag, hopefully you can see it, just under $92,000. Dually, I don't know. I mean, this to me should be a work truck, but how can it be a work truck if people are trying to work for a living, can't afford the thing? If you're taking monthly payments on many of these examples here that are priced between $80,000 and $95,000, you're easily looking at monthly payments between $1,500 and $2 grand per month. Those are mortgage-sized payments. I don't understand. As I look at each of these Silverados here, all of them have a couple things in common. They're all Z71s or high countries. This one here is an LTZ. This is quote unquote the most affordable one on this dealership lot. And hopefully you're gonna be able to see it okay. Priced just under 64 grand, 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500 LTZ. That's the most affordable, and that truly is in line with the national average. The national average as of Q1 2025 of truck sale prices is just over $64,000. Absolutely insane. Personally, I hate that we have normalized these price tags. We've normalized these astronomically high monthly payments. In fact, right now, over half of all the truck loans out right now within the United States are over $1,000 per month. Let that sink in. Believe it or not, this is actually the most affordable full-size heavy-duty Chevy Silverado I found on this lot. It is still priced over $75,000. This one here is a Silverado 2500 Crew Cab LTZ. This is the most affordable one. Trail Boss example. Pretty sad that 75 grand is the most affordable, huh? You remember when buying a used truck used to save you tremendously? Not anymore. All these used examples behind me are about $5,000 to $12,000, $15,000 less than the brand new counterparts. Years ranging from 2017 up to 2025. Used examples. Pretty pathetic, huh? Believe it or not, it is not uncommon for a Ram 1500 or 2500 to sit on a dealership lot for over a year at this point. These are just not selling whatsoever. These are actually having the hardest time of any pickup truck out there. Here we have an example of a Laramie trimmed 1500, and right next to it, a Ram Rebel 1500. Let me show you how much they want for it. Hopefully you can see it there. $74,310 for this Ram 1500 Rebel GT Crew Cab 4x4. And well, the Laramie right next to it, priced at just under $69,000. Here we have an example of a Ram 1500 SST trimmed example with a little bit of hail damage. How about that? They want just under $70,000 for it. Hopefully you can see it okay. $69,710 for the Ram 1500 Laramie. And of the entire lineup of unsold Rams here, much of these are 2500s. This one here is the most affordable. Ram 2500 heavy duty example of a Warlock trim Ram. Look at that, $59,805 for the Warlock Crew Cab. One thing that I've always noted as a pitfall for the Ram is this back end. The bed sides are always pretty bland and bleak looking. There could be a lot more design cues involved, but instead you kind of just get this one little body line there that's pretty weak, and kind of up top here, it's just pretty boring. You tell me. All right guys, we'll wrap up the video there. Hopefully most of you picked up on the sarcasm, a little bit of satire in this video. But unfortunately, a lot of dealerships, a lot of salesmen truly are confused. They're confused as to why so many of their once very popular trucks are not selling. They're confused. if they just look at the price tag, maybe it will become clearer to them. They need to discount these substantially if they want any chance of moving this metal. Desirable trim or not, they cost too much. Let me know what you're seeing at your local dealerships. Are you seeing this? Lines upon lines of unsold new inventory sitting collecting dust for several months on end, or are they flying off the shelf? Tell me in the comment section. As always, I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to tune into these videos. If you find any value in it whatsoever, I do respectfully request that you please consider liking and subscribing. Your support means a ton, and I promise you it doesn't go unnoticed. Till next time.